We have received a huge amount of support. We've been in existence now for 17 years, and we were always very keen to export and expand our markets out of Britain, because we recognise that with a very high value niche business such as ours, we had to spread the risk, if you like, and explore new markets. We've had help exhibiting overseas, we've had help with market research and trade missions, and we continue to take every advantage of those. We've had very positive experience.
Trade missions themselves could be rather limiting, because I think they're rather orchestrated, with big buyers seeing big companies and big people and institutions and government bodies, and I'm not quite sure really how much impact that can actually have on real life business that wants to export.
With support, someone met me at the airport. I had 20 visits booked with different companies. Yes, we ended up in some strange places, but it was always with someone who could speak the language. And to me, since then, my opinion of China has been, you know, it's a difficult place to do business, but done in the right way, you can do business. So for me, there's no question. You need the help, and they're doing it in the best way they can afford, most probably. On the ground support is really useful, because they can get you in front of the right people.
The Welsh Government has been pretty much invisible to us as an organisation since we dropped out of the KB4B framework, when that was abolished some 3 years ago. We won a Queen's Award last year, and it felt like we popped up on the radar again, and we've started to grow links since then.
I've been exporting now for 8 or 9 years, but that's all been done off my own contacts and my own basis, and we've never received any advice or direct assistance from the Welsh Government in either form.
We're the market leader within our sector in the UK, in France, in Poland. We've achieved all of that on our own, really, and we would greatly value more assistance and support.
We've not had any support from the Welsh Government to help us market our business abroad, and we're a small e-commerce business at the moment that sells in probably more than 25-30 countries worldwide. Right. The amount of revenue that comes into the business from abroad at the moment is still quite small. It's probably only about 10% of our turnover. But recently we've invested some money in marketing the brand in the USA, but we've just proven to ourselves that by marketing our brand directly in America, we can increase sales fairly easily.
Over the years, the WDA seems to have focused mostly, in my mind, I know there are some other operations now out there, but perhaps I saw the WDA as a brand. Perhaps it was because it was active at a time when economically the economy was more active, but it seemed to have something about it. But since the demise of the WDA, I haven't really come across anything which has replaced it.
To a large extent, the overseas markets perceive us as being a UK organisation as opposed to Welsh.
I think one of the biggest perceptions is people not really sure where Wales is. It's a very difficult one to explain to people where Wales is, what that Welsh identity is.
I would say that football is quite a nice opener, and you can say Swansea City and you can say Cardiff, and that gives them something to latch on to. So I think they have this concept of Britain being a very sort of good place for education. But as I said, for business, I still think we're sort of finding our way. So I don't think there's this firm idea that Britain is good at this, and then Wales as a subset is good at something else. I just don't think it's happening like that at the moment. That's my idea.
Difficult to see what the unique selling points could be for Wales when you're looking to invest on a European scale.
We've always talked about Wales as being part of our brand. We've always talked about being based here, and we feel it's a very important part of our brand, but we don't feel we get support for that. I don't know if the Welsh Government see the value of Wales as... I don't know whether they see the value of Wales globally, and I don't know whether they look to push, the countryside as much as they could do.
Dwi'n meddwl maen nhw yn wybodol o rei busnesau mawr sy'n Gymru. Un example di Anglesey Sea Salt mewn bob man rwan. Ond efo busnesau bach dwi'n meddwl bod nhw'n ymwybodol iawn amdanyn nhw rei.
Last year, a Welsh winemaker got the world's best sparkling wine. That beat off all the French champagne houses. There's some serious achievements, and actually one of the biggest problems we have is we're not very good about telling the rest of the world what we do.
Maybe getting a bit more of a handle on brand Wales, what brand Wales is, that it's more than just agriculture, that it is the most, the second best place in the world to go mountain biking after America, apparently. Those kind of things are invaluable to bringing people into this place.
Come back to this point. The banks aren't lending. They don't lend to working capital. They don't like risky businesses. They don't like startups. So if you're not going to get governments who understand that and actually step forward and say, well, here you go, here's something to do with it, where are you going to get that finance from?
I think there are opportunities there, but I think it's becoming more and more difficult, particularly when the markets aren't buying what they were. But I think you've got to start building today. We can't change the way that it is.
Dwi'n ffeindio fo'n galad gwerthu stwff fi I pobl yn yr ardal yma, really. A di pobl ddim eisiau talu'r pres chwaith, sy'n broblem mawr efo'r quality dwi efo mewn gwaith I, anyway. A swn I yn licio allforio os swn i'n cael y gwaith yna, a cael gwaith fi rownd y byd, really.
In 2004, we enabled people to buy our products online, and it radically transformed the business overnight. Turnover went up immediately from that day.
We do a very small amount of export into the USA and a little bit into France. Those are hopefully growing, and indeed through certain trade shows. I mentioned the IFE, the International Food and Drink Exhibition that we went to last year. That's produced some good leads that we're still following up, and we will hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months secure a contract with at least one of those contacts.
If we'd just been exposed to the UK economy, personally I don't think we would be in as strong a position as we are today. And we've ridden out some of the troughs in the UK through strength in France or strength in the Nordics, or etc., etc.
It's not that easy for a small business to find out about what exactly is available and what help is available, and it's not easy for small businesses to find the funding to do these things.
Dwi'n di clywad dim byd sut sa'n nhw medru helpu, so dwi'n di mynd I sbio am yr help, really.
There's no sort of single easy way to access that information without paying an awful lot to the professional advisory community.
We do need more time to plan our export strategy, and to have more continuity in both the timescale and the type of help on offer would be really useful.
We have received some support from overseas territories that are wanting us to trade within their territory, and yet we've had to access that link through our network within confectionery.
Top 3 barriers I'd say for us an SME: the finance, the number of times you have to visit, so I don't think it's an easy win. And then I just do think that you've got to understand a little bit about the culture, and that is related to going to meet them.
Red tape that exists in the country that you wish to trade in, recruitment, the simple things of registering for tax, payroll. I guess the other 2 main areas are one of language and that of funding and access to capital.
So if you want to go and develop something, you really have to look around out of your own internal resources. For small companies, that's virtually impossible if they weren't going to get some help.
You can find niches in the market which can take you forward, The trouble is it's time consuming, and it's not just about the money, it's about your time. And when you're trying to satisfy your existing customers, it can be very difficult when you've got a customer in America, Australia that wants to have something different, have something special.
I think the main barriers to exporting abroad are, it's teaching your audience that you're marketing to who you are and that you're a trustworthy business.
We're having to learn very quickly about complicated markets which change monthly as far as I can see. China is a really good example of that. We've been trying to trade with China for probably 8 or 10 years now, and I've been 3 times. I'm going again with a DEFRA mission to Hong Kong, but it's a very complicated market, and we really could do with more hand-holding with that one.
Beth nes I ddeud o'r blaen efo'r market, so dwi'n stryglo efo hwnna, so di pobl yn bellach I ffwrdd, dyn nhw'n gweld gwaith fi, so dwi'n nhw'n cael gwaith o, ond so ni yn licio allforio gwaith fi rhyw dro.
There doesn't seem to be the money available at the time that you need it, or it's not the money that, it's not relevant to the project that you want to do. And then trying to just find somebody to talk to about it, or finding information on a website that works, it's almost impossible.
You ask any SME, it seems that Welsh companies struggle to get help from the Welsh Assembly Government, real help to really go and drive these markets hard. And I know that's been a constant bugbear, because it seems to be easier to get a big company to come in and say they're going to create 500 jobs, rather than, say, getting 10 companies to employ 50 people.
The things that would be most of interest to us would be assistance in areas when opening up new markets that include breaking down the initial red tape, I suppose, of trading in a particular country.
If the Welsh Government can support and get the support of local business people who've done a lot of exporting and form that into a coherent band of people that could be listened to, I think that's something which actually would be a very good advice can be given then to people who are just starting out on the export trail.
Get people on the ground. You know, people on the ground that can go in, talk to business, find out what they're doing and what they need to, you know, build their business from Wales, and, you know, help invest in them, because, you know, we support 19 people here. You know, I think we're one of the biggest employers in Cardigan, probably after the Welsh Government, and we've just done that off our own back, but it hasn't been easy.
It'd be good to see some more liaison between potential inward investment companies and existing businesses in Wales, because there's a lot of untapped potential in Wales where we could feed into other companies coming into Wales.
If we could get the money to help us market our brand, you know, to make Howie's trip off the lips of other people abroad, understand what we're about and give people the faith to buy our products, we could expand here in a rural location and employ more people. We need quick broadband. You know, I still can't get broadband in my house. We need to be able to come into work every morning and know that we can dial into the outside world to do our business.
Wel, sa fo'n handi sa nhw medru helpu fi adnabod partneriau, dramor I fi gael allforio, danaf yn dodrafn I gael y stwff allan yna, really.
I'd like to see a multi-level brand, so that we are first and foremost Anglesey, we're Welsh, and then we're British. And I think we need to try and incorporate that with any new branding.
A brand identity for Wales, I think, is something we need to develop more. I think it's something that could be government-led, but very definitely industry-backed. And we spoke earlier about a concept of a logo, a brand, basically, of Produce of Wales. That is relatively simple and straightforward to put together, but if that's marketed correctly, that could be superb. And that would work both within Wales and in export markets.
You know, all Welsh business should know what Brand Wales is about. And if they can add to Brand Wales, or if they can be of help to Brand Wales, there should be incentives and benefits for doing so.
I think someone has to, in the main, has to have this really holistic approach. We support you to go out there. We support you to attend trade fairs. We support you to do all those things that you need to get the business. Then when it comes back, this is what we can do for you. And it's no good then just saying, oh, well, I'm sure there's a bank over there that can help you, or else I'm sure there's someone else over there that can help you, because they don't. And it would be nice to think that there was some way the Welsh Assembly Government could somehow improve that little end piece. And it's the end piece that needs, then you really create a far more rounded approach to the whole thing. And I think that you've got two pieces of the jigsaw, you need the third one.